days.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are playing Gabriel Knight 2. A Beast Within, right, that's the secondary title. A game that takes place in an era where we did not use email, so actually mailing people things took effort. This is also an FMV based game, which means we see a lot of videos of the characters going about their business. Also, fun fact, after the previous episode I actually forgot to save the game. Yeah. And that is even after having gone over all the shenanigans about being expected to save the game and just about every damn second you ever do a thing. Well, anyway, we're going to be visiting another feature of these 90s era games. You're supposed to click something here, and it is not actually the forest.
Go back a ways. Plenty of space to hide.
My question is, can you, on the YouTube machine, see from there where you are supposed to click? Because I can't. It is here, I believe. Yeah, apparently Gabriel spots a bit of fur here, and as we just had a music cue, that is big drama.
Something's been here. Maybe the thing that killed Yuba's daughter.
And next up, we are supposed to know that we should go and examine this.
It's a water trough. Ground's a bit muddy over here.
Ooh, paw prints.
Jesus. It's as big as my hand.
That would be a really big wolf. Yeah. Did you notice perhaps that up here we saw a prompt for click the mouse to skip scene? We can do that to skip the video, but the animation you saw there, I think they call it rotoscoping, those cannot be skipped. So we cannot like double click like I just tried to do to just instantly transition the area like you can do in most modern adventure games. That was not a thing we did in the 90s.
I could be wrong, but I think this bag contains cement. Now. Quick. Quick drying cement?
It even says cement on the bag. Nah, must be wheat flour. Yes, we did indeed need to see Gabriel wakes up a bucket full of cement. That is how you play adventure games. And we need that cement to get a cast of the paw print. Why do we need a mold, I guess, not cast? Why do we need that, you ask? At this stage, we don't actually know that. No, that we do. Maybe it is a sensible thing to do. So we can, show the paw print to someone, but at this point, I am not aware that we are supposed to know who we should show that paw print mold to. But doing it now saves us a whole shit ton of running back and forth. So we're doing it. Okay. So let us save the game. And travel, which we do not do by clicking the car. We click on the car keys and click out here and then click on the car. That is how you do point and click adventure games. 90s style. Yes, it was annoying back then. But it was kind of a sport, you might say, to just figure out what you needed to do to progress. So sometimes you would need to do some really, really obscure things. I think they are commonly referring to that as moon logic. Monkey Island 1 and 2 are particularly good examples of that. Prolific, yes. Modern adventure games, though, err on the side of being sensible. This game, I would say, kind of straddles both approaches. You are expected to do pretty much everything. Like when you send mail, you will also need to pull out your wallet and use that to pay for postage. And like you just saw, you need to use the car keys on the car to actually go places. I think the most notoriously unforgiving games in that respect is either Police Quest 3 or Police Quest 4. You could check those out if you want to. I think they sell for dirt cheap on GOG as well. Why we need to see this scene at such great lengths, I don't know that I will ever understand. But yeah, this is a zookeeper throwing treats to the wolves. Yeah, and he's not concerned in the slightest. Good. Good wolves. They totally won't be dangerous at any point in the game. And whoosh, we teleport into the screen.
Canis lupus lupus, European wolf.
Okay. The wolf's language. Yeah, this is some body language. I I don't know that anyone can read that stuff. I don't know that anyone could read it back when they photographed this. If that was what they did. Well, anyway, we click over here. We can look at the wolves.
Yeah, Wolf. Come on, boy. Yeah, Wolfie. Come on. Come on, Wolfie, Wolfie. Come on. Come on. Get the heck over here, will ya?
And be the dumbest fucking annoying tourist known to man. Good going, Gabriel Knight. Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat or anything. Gabriel Knight is not a favorite protagonist of mine. This is the first Gabriel Knight game I'm playing for the, well, strictly speaking, second time. I mean, you can tell throughout the game that he kind of does have, have his heart in the right place at least, but he's really kind of a dick. Well, anyway, we've done all we needed to do over there, so let's go nowhere. Instead, have a chat with this guy.
Excuse me, do you speak English?
Yes?
Great. Mind if I ask you some questions?
Yeah, okay.
So, one nice thing with the user interface here is that we can use the cursor keys or arrow keys to move between the menu items. That is much better for your arms than having to move your mouse around and click on everything. Well, anyway, we are studious adventure gamers, so we click on everything and say everything. So, here we go.
Have you worked here long?
Tomas. Almost 1 whole year.
A year? Wow. I noticed you were pretty calm walking in that kennel. Guess wild animals don't bother you, huh?
The wolves. They're lazy during the day.
Oh. So you carry a walkie-talkie.
The zoo is big.
Who normally gives you your instructions over that thing?
Kitchen, sometimes the health unit. For something really important, Dr. Klingman himself will call me.
Dr. Klingman.
Now, what he just said was very important because we will take advantage of that in a well, coming act of wanton wanton act of being chaotic neutral.
Who's this Dr. Klingman you mentioned?
Dr. Klingman is in charge of the mammal division.
So I should speak to him about seeing the wolves up close.
You can try, but he won't let you.
Perhaps. Where could I find him?
In the administration area.
Thanks. These wolves are fascinating, aren't they? Tried calling one over, but they weren't too obliging.
Yeah, some people try that all day.
Is there any chance you could take me inside the kennel? I'd really like to see one of the wolves up close, kind of a research thing.
No way. No one will enter the kennel without authorization.
So, we do actually want to get to the wolves. The reason why is, well, we had the fur, right? From the farm. So we want something to compare that with. That being these wolves. So I would say stay tuned.
I suppose you were around when those wolves escaped.
No, I don't work at night.
But you must have been here the next day, right? That people were pretty upset, what, with the police and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that day was super crazy.
Can you tell me about it?
Tell you what?
Oh yeah, I just noticed something. Do you remember what I said about the video scaling being not all there? Well, the bands with the, I think, duplicated pixels. I think here in the vertical space, one band would be around here, and one about here in Thomas's eye height. I still think there is one vertical band here. Maybe there's another one, between that one and the left edge, so around here, and one more here. But, well, curious nerds can look for that. If you're not that curious, just please ignore.
So, how'd the wolves escape anyway?
Well, Dr. Klingman says the gate was left open after the night feeding.
What do you think?
The gate is heavy, it shuts itself. Maybe something was in the way, maybe a rock, I don't know. I'm only glad it was not me there. The boy who works that night has been, you know.
Oh, fired.
Fired.
So, what do you think about these killings? Pretty scary, huh? You ever think those two wolves could do something like this?
I don't believe it is possible. Hilda and Parzival were fine with me, just like all the other wolves. Hilda, she liked to play. She was so young still.
She did. What did the two missing wolves look like, anyway?
Hilda was pretty. She had much white on her chest. And Parzival, he was bigger, thicker, more in the chest. He was 5 or 6 years old, maybe. Much darker than Hilda.
Dark. Dark what?
Dark gray. Both were gray. And most of the wolves here are. Hilda was light, but they get darker when they get older.
Is that right? Hey, thank you for your time.
Whatever.
Oh, those eyes. Actually, let's see what happens if we examine this. Looks kind of...
Just looks like reddish hair to me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
need help analyzing it.
red, so it's not gray. Which should mean that whatever happened at the Huber farm, these wolves were not at the site.
Kommen Sie. Kann ich Ihnen helfen?
I'm afraid my German isn't very good. My name's Gabriel Knight. I'm an American novelist.
What can I do for you, Mr. Knight?
I'm researching a new book, and I hear you're the expert in these parts. Could you spare a moment?
Please, sit down.
Thank you.
Those 25 frames per second or whatever it was. Those were the days. Well, my German is a little better than Gabriel's, so I can tell you with some, some passing degree of authority that what the good doctor said when Gabriel Knight knocked on the door was, enter and how can I help you? Which is basically what he said when Gabriel Knight said he couldn't speak German.
Could I ask you some questions?
Yes.
Thanks. You don't mind if I record this, do you?
That's fine.
Dictaphones, you know?
So, you're in charge of the zoo's mammal divisions.
Yes.
What kind of training do you need for that, Doc?
I realize you Americans hate titles, but people refer to me as Herr Dr. Klingman here. Herr Doctor will also do.
Sorry.
I have a doctorate from Heidelberg University. My field is animal behaviorist.
Fascinating.
And I do believe that is our clue that we need to visit the Heidelberg University.
I see you're particularly interested in wolves.
Yes, I'm quite well known for my wolf research.
You must have been horrified when 2 of your wolves escaped then.
Yes, it has been very unsettling.
What kind of wolf research do you do, Herr Doctor?
I study wolf society here and in the wild.
Any insights?
Only that there is a purity to nature which human society lacks.
Meaning?
Life, reproduction, death. In nature there's a purpose to it, even if that purpose isn't pretty. We humans have forgotten our purpose.
We have.
Yes. Does a male lion say to the female, "I'm sorry, but I'm afraid to make a commitment"? Does a female wolf run off and leave her offspring to the male because she wants to mate with another wolf? Do hyenas need psychotherapy because they are guilty about their thieving nature?
You have a point.
Which I'm afraid I have overstated.
Not at all. Do your fellow scientists share your views?
Not often, no. Fortunately, I have found others who do.
I was speaking with one of your boys out front, Greg, was it?
No, there's no Greg on staff here. Do you mean Thomas?
Thomas, right. Anyway, he's the one that said to talk to you. Because I was wondering if there was any way I could get a closer look at one of the wolves for research.
I'm afraid this is not possible. We don't show our wolves to anyone. We must protect what privacy the creatures have.
Really? Well, gosh. Guess that's that.
Of course, it also never occurs to Gabriel that if he wanted a bit of their fur, maybe he could ask that question. But no. We're not that kind of sensible in point-and-click adventure games.
Do you mind if we talk briefly about the missing wolves?
Is this relevant to your book?
Oh, yeah. You see, wolves are major characters in my new novel, and this case is quite unusual, isn't it?
I suppose it is. Very well. Actually, I know very little about the case, but I will tell you what I can.
Appreciate it. How long have the wolves been missing?
It's been about 2 months.
Jeez. Whew, that's a while, isn't it? Strange the police haven't seen hide nor hair of them, so to speak.
Believe me, your sentiment is shared by the German public.
Do you think the zoo wolves are responsible for the mutilation killings?
That is yet to be proven.
Because I've been wondering, what else could it be? Wild wolves, maybe?
Unfortunately, there are very few wild wolves left in Germany. Most were killed off by hunters decades ago.
Most.
A few remain in the Alps. But so close to a city like Munich, it's highly unlikely.
Any other suggestions?
I'm afraid I'm as confused as anyone, Mr. Knight.
What I don't see is why wolves, if the killers are wolves, why wolves would attack humans.
Wolves are predators. Most carnivores are potential man-eaters given hunger enough and opportunity.
But weren't the zoo wolves raised among humans?
Yes. And therefore, they are not afraid of us.
I suppose. How does a wolf choose its victims?
Have you ever heard of the language of death?
No.
You may have heard that wolves often choose the young, the old, or the sick as prey. Until recently, many thought this was some sort of natural selection going on, survival of the fittest. But now some of us are finding it is much more complicated than that. We have observed, for example, wolves surround a sick moose cow. The creature was helpless, yet she stood up and glared back at her would-be killers. The wolves dispersed. Or a healthy bull who ran off alone when he sensed wolves, making himself an easy target for no apparent reason. Researchers now believe that there's a kind of primal language going on. "I am death," the wolf says. "Are you ready to go?" And the victim, by its actions, says, "Yes, I am ready," or "No, you will not take me now."
What if their prey doesn't know the language of death?
This is a big problem, particularly for the wolves. When wolves come across domesticated animals who do not know how to play the game, they're confused. They start slaughtering, and they have no sense for when to stop. That is why farmers have hunted wolves to extinction in most parts of the world.
Well, that certainly gives me something to think about.
And just so we're clear, that is, I would say without, if no one presents evidence to support that, that was all pseudoscience.
Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Not at all.
And thank you all for your time. Oh, apparently there are monkeys here. In the next episode, we're going to be doing things over at the farm. So stay tuned and see you in the next episode.